The launch of Fantom's new Sonic chain is setting up to be one of the biggest DeFi events of Q4. In today's video, I'm going to go through why, as well as what you can do today to prepare. Welcome back to Dynamo DeFi. My name is Patrick, and remember that this video is not financial or investment advice. It's purely intended to be educational, and you should still do your own research. Now let's get into it. To start, most importantly, what is Sonic and how is it going to differentiate itself from the many other chains out there? Sonic is a smart contract layer 1, like Ethereum, like Solana, like Sui, and it's promising to be extremely high throughput, similar to Solana or Sui. However, as I've noted on this channel before, that's the bare minimum now. It's no longer enough to differentiate a chain, but it's enough to potentially put it in the race. Fortunately for Sonic and the Fantom team, they have a number of other attributes as well that could actually set them apart. For one thing, they're EVM. So EVM means Ethereum Virtual Machine. And this actually sets them apart from, for example, Solana or Sui, which use other virtual machines. And so while those chains are really fast, it's extremely difficult for applications from Ethereum or Arbitrum or Base or other EVM chains to redeploy onto them. Whereas Sonic is EVM compatible, similar to most Ethereum layer 2, so it'll be seamless for Ethereum-based applications to deploy also on Sonic. And there's already several large ones that are preparing to do so. In terms of speed, like I mentioned before, it's shaping up to be extremely fast with a confirmation time of around 1 second and transaction speeds of over 10,000 transactions per second. Another reason why I think the Fantom team has a strong chance of pulling this off is that they've done it before. Back in 2021 and 2022, Fantom was one of the top chains for DeFi, having a TVL of over $7 billion at one point. And due to a variety of things, some of which were candidly mistakes on their part, some of which were out of their control, the TVL dropped dramatically down to fewer than $100 million at the bottom. And since then has recovered a bit, but is still just barely over $100 million. But the point being that this is a team that has proven that they know how to build out a DeFi ecosystem. And they already have a large number of projects and developers that are building on Fantom. And so Sonic is fast, it's EVM compatible, and the team has experience building a DeFi ecosystem before. However, I don't think those things on their own are enough. In today's world, there is a surplus of block space, so just being fast, that's the bare minimum to compete. And there's other EVM compatible chains, maybe not as many fast EVM compatible layer 1s. However, you've got layer 2s like Base, like Arbitrum, that Sonic has to take market share away from. They do, however, have something else major that they've done a phenomenal job at, and that is incentivizing developers to enter their ecosystem. This is their light paper, which was released just a few hours before making this video, titled Sonic, Where Builders Come First, Unlocking Next-Gen Blockchain, Speed, Security, and Use Cases. And I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but I'm going to look at some highlights. So this is from the start of their abstract. I'm quoting now. In an evolving blockchain landscape, what truly sets one network apart from countless others that fade away? For Sonic, we believe the key lies in offering unique products and features that empower developers to build applications more competitively than on any other chain. So they're looking at setting up their chain to attract developers to build applications, which of course the idea being that those applications will then attract users. And here is a key way that they highlight that they're doing that. They have a fee monetization program, which allows developers to earn up to 90% of the fees generated through their applications. Every time you use a blockchain, at least on most chains, you have to pay some sort of gas fee, even if it's small. And so what this does is this says if you're a developer and you build a smart contract and people are paying to use it, then some of those fees are going to go back to the chain to pay stakers or validators. However, 90% of those fees are actually going to go back to the person who wrote that smart contract, and that gives a huge incentive for developers to deploy those contracts onto Sonic. They close out the abstract by saying, by integrating cutting-edge technology with a revolutionary developer-centric model, Sonic aims to redefine the blockchain landscape, reinvigorating focus on productive, consumer-facing applications and empowering builders to create profitable on-chain businesses. And I think that's one of the things that's really been lacking in DeFi and crypto is profitable on-chain businesses. And I've said for a long time that I believe this next cycle is going to see the first large cohort of profitable on-chain businesses. And in my opinion, you've already seen a few of those with decentralized perp exchanges, as well as other applications like pump.fun. But that's not all that Sonic is doing for developers. They have this Sonic University program that they launched, which is a program to train blockchain builders, innovators, marketers, etc. at universities around the world. So getting the talent while it's fresh, right? Finding people who are just starting to graduate college or maybe are still in college and getting them into blockchain and getting them into blockchain on Sonic. They also have this Sonic and Sodas program, which is a program for developer-focused network events funded by Sonic Labs. So they actually fund blockchain developers to network around the world. And of course, the idea being that some of those developers will choose to then build on Sonic. And finally, they have this incentives program known as Sonic Boom. This is a bounty program where they're giving away up to $52 million of Sonic tokens for people who build a variety of useful applications on the chain. Among the applications they're looking for are things like debit cards to off-board USDC, lending markets, different types of stablecoins, both crypto-backed and backed by real-world assets, gaming, a whole different variety of exchanges, DePIN and AI networks, and more. So basically, they are setting things up to have this huge, expansive network before they even go live. And they're already having a lot of success with it. If you look at some of the apps that have recently announced that they'll be launching on Sonic, you have things like Curve, which is one of the largest decentralized exchanges in crypto, focused on trading like assets such as stablecoins, Redstone and Oracle, KyberSwap, another major decentralized exchange, Snapshot, which is one of the largest, most important governance platforms. All these things are going to be available on Sonic from the start so that they have all the infrastructure that you need to do the things that you normally want to do in crypto. They're also bringing over a huge number of applications from Fantom Opera. For example, Equalizer, which is one of the top applications on Fantom and one of the ones that's continued to innovate throughout the past few years. They're going to be launching on Sonic as well. If all that sounds interesting to you, what can you do today to prepare for Sonic's launch? Well, the first thing is you can start qualifying for Sonic's airdrop. They're doing a massive airdrop of over $100 million worth of Sonic tokens. And they've already said that one of the ways you can qualify is by using the Sonic Arcade on their testnet. Now, this involves playing various arcade games on here, Plinko, Mines, Wheel, etc. I made a full tutorial on how to do this zero-fee airdrop a couple weeks ago, so I'll link this down in the description if you want to start qualifying for the airdrop. Everything you need is in this video here. However, even beyond that, some of you may be interested in getting exposure to the Fantom ecosystem today. As of the time I'm making this video, Fantom's FTM token has a market cap of around $2 billion. And just as a refresher, this is being exchanged 1-to-1 with Sonic's S tokens. So Fantom is becoming Sonic, FTM is becoming S. And the market cap is currently around $2 billion, which places it at rank 52 on CoinGecko. And while $2 billion is nothing to scoff at, for comparison, that still gives it a lot of room to grow if you look at other high throughput layer ones. For example, Sui has a market cap of around $6 billion, but a fully diluted valuation of over $22 billion. Aptos has a market cap of around $5.2 billion and a fully diluted valuation of over $11 billion. And I'm not necessarily saying that Fantom is going to become equal to these tokens in market cap or FTV. However, it shows you that the potential size of a high throughput layer 1 is significantly larger than where it is now, especially if they're able to execute on their vision of building out an expansive ecosystem. Some other important information to note is that you don't have to take any immediate action with your Fantom. Once Sonic Chain launches, you'll be able to swap your FTM for S 1-to-1, and the S token will not have inflation for the first 6 months after its launch. However, following this period per governance votes, they could have some inflation. By the way, if you want to learn about these sorts of things ahead of time, I often publish them weeks or months before I talk about it on the channel on my newsletter at dynamodefi.substack.com. For example, I talked about Fantom and its upcoming airdrop last week. For more videos like this, like and subscribe, and until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.